Steve Harvey has spent the better part of 3 years defending his wife from a rumor that originated from a single unverified tweet, posted by an influencer who, within hours, admitted he had no evidence. That is the entire foundation. One tweet, no receipts, and a digital bonfire that has not fully extinguished itself even now, in 2026. What makes that extraordinary is not the rumor itself. Rumors attach themselves to famous people constantly and dissolve. What makes this extraordinary is the architecture of how this particular story was built, rebuilt, and kept breathing, and what it reveals about the machinery that can convert nothing into something that feels, to millions of people, like fact. Start at the beginning. August 2023. A YouTuber known by the name KEM posted a claim alleging that Marjorie Harvey, fashion figure, businesswoman, wife of one of the most recognizable men in American entertainment, had been unfaithful to her husband with members of their household staff. The Bodyguard. The personal chef. Within hours, the claim had traveled across platforms. Influencers reacted. Comment sections filled. Content creators framed it as breaking news. And then, almost immediately after posting, KEM himself issued a qualifier. It was, he acknowledged, just what the internet was saying. No sources.
No documentation. No photographs.
No legal filings. No verified reporting from any credible outlet. What the internet was saying. That phrase is worth sitting with, because everything that followed, every video, every thread, every exclusive update, grew from that single, self-admitted, sourced from nowhere claim. And what the internet did next is where this story actually begins. The rumor did not stop at the bodyguard and the chef. By the time the digital telephone had run its full circuit, the driver had been added. A $200 million divorce settlement had been invented, a figure, conveniently, matching widely circulated estimates of Steve Harvey's net worth, and posted as though it were drawn from court filings that did not exist. No one filed for divorce in 2023. No one filed in 2024. There are no filings as of 2026. The marriage that the internet declared over is, by every available measure, intact. But the speed of the expansion is worth examining. Because it was not random. It was algorithmic. Steve Harvey is not merely a famous man. He is a specific kind of famous man, one who built a substantial portion of his brand on the premise of knowing how relationships work. Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, published in 2009, sold more than 4 million copies. His syndicated radio show gave relationship counsel to millions. His television presence turned him into something close to a national authority on love, fidelity, and the inner logic of men. That is not a neutral biographical fact in this context. That is the precise irony the internet required to keep this story alive. If it had happened to almost anyone else, the absence of evidence would have been disqualifying. But it happened to Steve Harvey. And so the absence of evidence became, for a certain portion of the internet, irrelevant. The irony was too clean. The man who wrote the book on how men think, apparently unable to read the situation in his own home. That is the story people wanted. And once people want a story, they find ways to believe it. That sequence is not accidental. Here is something the viral posts consistently left out. The bodyguard at the center of this story, the same man the internet was prepared to cast as the villain, is the same man Steve Harvey publicly credited, in a 2016 interview with People magazine, with saving his marriage before it began. Harvey told the story himself. His bodyguard had told him, in plain terms, that the only time he had ever seen Steve truly happy was when he was with Marjorie. He urged him not to make the mistake of marrying another woman before he made that call. Steve made the call. The bodyguard helped assemble the relationship the internet was now claiming he had helped destroy. In November 2023, a clip from Steve's 2012 stand-up finale resurfaced. In it, Harvey becomes visibly emotional thanking the same man, calling him someone who had stood beside him for 25 years. The clip circulated not as evidence of loyalty, but as fuel. The internet took a moment of genuine gratitude and recontextualized it as suspicious, which in retrospect reads as a demonstration of something important. When a narrative takes hold, the same facts can be made to serve it from any angle. Steve Harvey did not go quiet. That matters. He did not issue a statement through a publicist. He did not disappear. He did not engage in the careful non-denial denial that often reads, even when innocent, as something to hide. He walked directly into Invest Fest 2023 in Atlanta, a major business and wealth conference, and before he addressed a single topic on the agenda, he told the room plainly, he was fine, and Marjorie was fine. He added that whatever people were doing out there, they needed to find something else to do. He said God had been good to him and he was still shining. He threw in a remark about wishing he could curse, which, given the circumstances, landed as more honest than any formal statement. That is not the move of someone caught off guard. That is not the move of someone managing a story. That is the move of someone who has decided the fastest route through is straight ahead. Marjorie Harvey's response operated on a different frequency. She posted a guide to her Instagram titled How to Handle Being Lied About, alongside a Bible verse about not retaliating when insulted. Her caption acknowledged the rumors without dignifying them, noted that she understood her platform carried responsibility to those who might not be as equipped to handle this kind of public attack, and signed off with a blessing. She did not ask for sympathy. She did not perform outrage. She offered instruction and moved on. Ice cold. Deliberate. The word she used in her caption was not devastated or betrayed or hurt. The word was faithful. Her own word, about herself. And it would appear again. At the Grio Awards in November 2023, Steve Harvey became visibly emotional speaking about Marjorie to a room full of people. He said she had been down with him through everything. He said she had been faithful and loyal to him without question. Faithful. That word was not accidental. It was chosen by a man who had been living with this particular accusation for months and who, in front of cameras and a live audience, selected the precise word that most directly answered the most specific charge against his wife. He did not use supportive. He did not use committed. He used faithful. And it lands entirely on its own. By September 2025, Steve Harvey had apparently reached a different threshold. He appeared on the Pivot podcast, hosted by former NFL players Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowder, and the conversation moved into territory that was noticeably less controlled, more raw. He acknowledged the memes. He could absorb those, he said. His face on Family Feud had become internet currency and he had made peace with that. But the moment the conversation turned to Marjorie, something shifted. He told the hosts directly, people had no idea what she had done for him. No idea what her presence had meant. No idea what she had given, quietly, across the years. If you have ever tried to explain to someone what a person means to you, not what they have done on paper, but what they have represented in the architecture of your actual life, you understand why that phrasing is not a talking point. That is not a PR line. That is the language of someone reaching for something that resists quantification. He also revealed something that had not previously been public. He had directly contacted a podcaster who had made derogatory comments about Marjorie on air. Steve Harvey, one of the most famous and therefore most scrutinized men in his industry, reached out personally. The podcaster walked it back, telling Harvey he used that kind of language all the time and had not meant it the way it came out. They reached an understanding. Harvey made certain the line was clear. She was off limits. Not her reputation. Her. Off limits. The facts, assembled without editorial commentary, say the following. Marjorie Harvey has never been named in any legal proceeding alleging infidelity. No credible investigative outlet has produced sourced evidence of an affair. The rumor originated from a single post that its own author disclaimed. Fact-checkers who investigated the claims concluded they were false. Steve Harvey has denied the allegations on at least 3 separate public occasions, across 2 years, in live settings with no script, without a single contradiction between accounts. The couple has not filed for divorce. They have not separated publicly. They have not issued any statement that hedges, softens, or leaves room for ambiguity. In June 2025, Steve and Marjorie Harvey celebrated their 18th wedding anniversary in Paris. He posted a video to Instagram of Marjorie discovering a large bouquet of red roses in the car. She turned and kissed him. He called her his ride or die and his best friend. She responded that after 18 years, she still had a lifetime to go. That same month, they sat together in the front row at the Louis Vuitton Menswear 2026 collection fashion show. The couple the internet declared finished in 2023 spent the summer of 2025, as they apparently spend most summers, showing up together, in public, without apparent difficulty. The person who seemed most exposed in this story, the man whose brand was built on relational authority, who stood most to lose from the specific shape of this particular rumor, is the same man who has repeatedly walked back into the public square and said, without variation, the same thing. They are fine. She is off limits. Nothing happened. And the woman beside him, the one the internet attempted to reduce to a tabloid character, the one whose name was attached to allegations that never produced a single piece of supporting evidence, never flinched. She offered a Bible verse and a blessing and got back to her life. The internet spent 3 years looking for a crack in that marriage. What it found, instead, was a demonstration of what it looks like when two people have decided, in advance, that they are not available to be rewritten. Steve Harvey is 69 years old, born January 17, 1957. He has survived cancellation attempts, cultural criticism, business controversies, and 3 years of a coordinated rumor campaign targeting the most private dimension of his life. He is still standing, still speaking, still defending what he says is the truth. The rumor began with a tweet. The tweet had no receipts. The marriage has 18 years. That gap, between what was alleged and what has ever been proven, is worth examining the next time a thumbnail tells you that a celebrity has finally confirmed something devastating. Pause. Ask where the documentation is. Because in this case, after nearly 3 years of looking, it was never there. Does the internet have an obligation to apply the same standard of evidence to famous people that it would demand before believing something about its own family? And given that Steve Harvey built his public identity on advising others about trust and loyalty, does the persistence of this particular rumor say more about him, or about our willingness to believe that a certain kind of man deserves to be humbled? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. For more interesting stories like this, be sure to click on the next video that pops up on your screen. You never know what you'll discover next.